One in just 1 second, I'm going to be introducing Liz Clark Fenton. And in case you guys didn't know this, but I'm sure you guys all know, she co authored the amazing book, The Good Widow. I was so blown away by this book. I can't even tell you. It's up there in my top 10 books. And I can't wait to tell her that because it's got to be so exciting for her right now. I see this book all over Instagram. So many people are finding it and loving it. And anyway, so here's Liz. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be speaking with author Liz Fenton and her newest book, which she co authored with Lisa. And I forgot to ask you how to say this Steinke?
Stanky,
Steinke,
stanky, yep.
yes. The Good Widow. Liz, thank you so much for talking with me today. That's all I can say.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh
I'm
my
happy to be here.
gosh. Yeah, I'm telling you, I was telling you before, this book, I saw it all over, everywhere I went. Okay. This book, they were like, read this book, read this book, read this book. So I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, it's such a tragic book. And then I'm thinking things and I'm going to be talking in code because this is not, we do not give away anything.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Right.
We have no spoilers on here. I don't like spoilers because everybody has to
Okay.
experience this. I mean, in
Okay.
their own way. But
Right.
I'm like reading this book and I walk around. First of all, I forgot to ask you to hold up a book because I used it on WhisperSync. So,
Oh, I have one. Hold on. I can
okay.
grab one. I'm in my
Hey,
office.
look at that cover.
Here
Uh,
it is.
that's amazing. But anyway, so I'm reading this
Oh, thank
and I'm
you.
walking around with my Kindle and I've got my earphones in because I'm listening and I'm reading and I'm like, what? What? Like every time people around me are like, what? I'm like, I'm listening to this book. Oh my God. And I do a little intro.
That's such a compliment.
Oh my God. Before I talk to you, I do a little intro. And I was like, I was trying to think of 10 books I liked more. Okay. As far as like
Uh-huh.
suspense or not, I don't know, think I'd call, do you think it's suspense? Is that there's parts of suspense, but
More like a domestic, I think they would call it like a domestic suspense or domestic thriller.
okay.
It's kind of like a subgenre
Okay. Yeah, like I love how now it's like
or
there's so
suspense
many.
light.
Yeah, Amazon has like all these sub
Oh, yeah.
genres. It's like genres, but then there's like sub
I
genres.
know. It's crazy. Seriously.
So okay, the story opens up, and this woman named Jax. First of all, I love the way you guys had these names because I listed them on a paper, and I was like, it leads to. I don't know how you pick names, but I'm kind of a name person when I'm reading a book. Okay, and it
Oh,
kind
good.
of leads to the suspense of it. I think because when you read them
Oh,
off, it's like Jackson, James, Nick, and Dylan. Okay, so it's like
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like all of a sudden you're like, who? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of just like randomly come up with names. I know Lisa definitely came up with Jax for sure. That was hers. Because I was like, oh, that's cool.
yeah, because, okay, think about it. Like, especially in this day and age when names are very ambig- ambiguous. Like, like Nick could be
Yeah,
Nicole,
ambiguous. Yeah.
ambiguous.
Yeah.
Dylan,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
so it's like all these names like right away. So you're like, wait a second, what? Oh yeah, okay. So you figure
Yeah.
out, it's
Yeah.
Jackson James. And so she finds out that her husband dies. And you find that really early on. And the ride that it takes from there, I don't know. How did you guys? Because, first of all, I've never really talked to a co author before. Not like you guys are. Okay. That is
Right.
rare. I mean, have you heard? I mean, really, it's rare.
I think, yeah, it is. I think it's becoming a little more popular now. It's interesting, like Greer, Hendricks, and Sarah Peckin, their book just hit the New York Times bestseller list, The Wife Between Us.
I want to read that.
And then Liv Constantine, who wrote The Last Mrs. Parrish, that's actually two people. It's sisters. So it has been rare, but I've noticed seeing kind of an uptake a little bit on co-authoring. I like to think we started a trend, but
Well, I just think you're unique because as I can tell from, everything that I looked up, it's like you've done 4 books. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and did you ever do any separately?
No, no. We've been friends
Right.
for a really long time, so we kind of started this journey off together.
Right,
We're
because
kind of stuck together.
well, like I interviewed Heather Webb and Hazel Gaynor back at
Oh,
the end of the year.
I love them.
Yeah, and I know they're so cute. And
Yeah.
and so they co-authored, but then they had their own, like they co-authored, but
Yeah.
then they have their own books. So that's what I wanted to find out. But yeah, I just think, okay, so in this day and age, it's a little bit easier because you don't have to live in the same city. So you're not like meeting at
Right.
Starbucks every day.
Seriously. We would kill each other. We could not do it that way. We
Okay.
can't we cannot write in the same room.
Yeah. Oh,
It's just
really?
we can't. No.
But do
We
you,
used to be able to. We can't now. We like to write. We like to kind of have our space when we're writing. So.
okay. So is it like, do you come up with the outline of how you want that story to be first?
Yes, yeah. Like today, right now, we have a book coming out in July, but then we're outlining the next book that would be for 2019. And so this morning we were on the phone for about 2 hours, kind of walking through the outline and the characters. We've written about 2 chapters of a new book. So then we just flip the chapters back and forth. So like Lisa wrote chapter 1 of this book. I edited it, sent it back. I added a prologue, and then I wrote chapter 2 and I sent it to her, and she sent the edits back to me tonight. And then I added my 2 cents and sent it back to her, and we'll just flip it back and forth till it's done, and then we'll move on to the next chapter. So it's kind of how we've always done it, just
And
back and forth.
because like just from reading this book, like I'm thinking, okay, do you ever disagree in how it's going to go? Like, do you ever?
Not really. And I mean, listen, not that we don't fight, like we certainly do. And in fact, on the book that's coming out in July, like we had a really, really hard time, but we never really fight about the writing. And it's weird. We're like an old married couple that like fights over the dishes, but they have like underlying issues, but they're fighting over like how the husband filled the dishwasher. That's kind of like us. We rarely fight about the writing. And I don't know why. We tend to kind of, bend over backwards to accommodate each other. And even though it's just interesting, but we do fight, but not about that. But that part's easy.
Interesting, because it's like, especially with this kind of a book, like say it was like a romance, and it was kind of like, okay, I don't know,
Yeah.
that genre just to me seems like a little. But this kind of a book, I mean, is it kind of like you come up with something and then she says something, you're like, oh my god, like.
Yes, it is like that. I mean, typically, I'll come up with the big picture idea. That's kind of my thing. And then Lisa's really good with the details. So after that, she'll start filling it in and be like, oh, that's so great. And I was driving it and thinking about like today, like we kind of came up with a big concept, and then we really got on the phone today and we're really filling in the details of the characters, and we kind of feed off each other. And like today, like when we were talking about when the characters and we kind of had a difference of opinion, I said, okay, well, hear me out. And I kind of made my argument, and then she's like, oh, you're right. So, I mean, I think we've worked together for so long. It's, you kind of are less emotional about your ideas and your writing,
Right.
because you're always being edited, and you're always your idea may be not criticized, but maybe bantered around a lot right away. So I think we have a little bit of like a thicker skin, because I could throw out an idea and she could be like, no, that's no. And you're just like, okay, let's move on, So I think we take things a little bit less personally.
That's awesome. And what I loved about this book, I try to think of all the things that I can say that I love about it, without giving anything away. But I did love the sister relationship. I don't have a sister.
Oh yeah.
But I do have daughters that are sisters. So I watch them, kind of relate. So you don't have a sister, because I don't know, it seemed really dead on from what I experienced watching them.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's a huge compliment. Lisa and I have been friends since we were 14, and and so we're kind of like each other's sisters. So a lot of times, and in our previous 3 books too, a lot of them were friendship based, and even that sister relationship, I love that relationship she has with her, with Beth, and it kind of mimics Lisa and I's relationship a little bit because we really are like sisters. I mean, we grew up together. We went to high school together. We went to college together. You know,
Wow.
yeah, her dad lives down the street from me now, and our families are very intertwined, and so we've always just kind of been like sisters.
That's crazy. So what
Yeah.
did you always like know that you were going to write? Like how did that happen?
Not really. I mean, not definitely not in high school. We both always wrote a lot, and then we went to college together, and we were in the same sorority, and we had the same major, and we took a lot of classes together. We did write a one-act play together on our word processor. That I actually found it the other day, and it's awful. But anyway, we had talked about writing a book, but I didn't really think it was something that would happen. And then about 9 years later, I was working and married. I think I had a baby, and Lisa was working in TV, and she came to me and said, "I'm ready to write the book." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not. I'm busy." But she wrote a first chapter and sent it to me, and we just started writing. And it just, I mean, nothing came of that book, and then we wrote another book, and nothing really came of that book, and then we wrote a third book, and that ended up selling to Simon and Schuster, and that was kind of the beginning of our career.
So that one was Your Perfect Life?
Yeah, Your Perfect Life. Yeah,
Okay. Awesome.
yeah. But we had two before that. It was 3 years of just trial and error, and not really getting where we were trying to go.
Right. So now that this has been, I don't know. I'm assuming this is the most successful one, but that's only because I'm the one who read this one. But
It is. Yeah, it is.
it is.
It is.
I mean, are you
Yeah.
guys just like blown away by?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really, writing is an interesting job, and really all you want is people to read your books, and hopefully love them, right? But it's so subjective, and so The Good Widow has been a really fun ride, and it's fun to be exposed to so many new readers, and we hope they go back and read our earlier books, even though they're not suspense. And it's really fun. We had switched publishers for The Good Widow, and I think that they did a really beautiful job getting it out there.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what I was thinking because, like I was telling you on Instagram, and that's really the only. I'm on Facebook a little bit, but I do hang out on
right?
Instagram more. And what I love about all of you women authors, it seems like you're so supportive of each other's
Yeah,
work. And so what I see is like other women authors saying, read this book. I just read this book. You have to read. And,
right.
since I've gotten to know a couple of you, I'm just like, wow, you guys are really like, you back each other so
We
much,
do.
you know?
It's a really really great community, and I think that we all want to see everyone else succeed because the more people reading and buying books, it's good for everyone. Like,
It
so
really
for
is.
me, I'm happy. And so Lisa and I definitely go out of our way to support as many authors as we can. We also know, especially the debut authors, that's
Right.
really tough. And I remember our own experience as a debut author, and it is, and we already had a social media platform, and we struggled. And that book never really got a foothold, and it still never has gotten a foothold. And it's like our favorite book, but it's just really hard to be a debut author. So when I see a debut author, we really try to go out of our way to help them.
Yeah, I actually love interviewing debut authors because they are so like blown away by
Yeah.
by their first
Yeah,
book.
I know. It's just like, whoa, like you think, it's yeah. Being a debut author is like a roller coaster because a lot of them are like us. They have several manuscripts that didn't make it, and then you
Right.
finally make it, and you're like, this is it. Like, I am done. Like, and then you realize, like, oh, this is okay. It's still a lot of work. Like, it's
Right.
still, it's really a struggle, and so you kind of go through this whole thing, not necessarily down, but a reality check, and then you kind of have to really dig in and keep moving and keep writing books, and get really get into the third, fourth, fifth book of your career, where I see most authors kind of, unless that their first book just exploded, that's really, you see like the third, fourth, fifth book that they really start to gain an audience and get
Yes.
that foothold in the industry.
Well, and that's another thing about you guys. I'm first of all, I'm so inspired because I'm 53. I raised my
Oh, you look
children.
great.
Thanks. I raised my children, and then it's kind of like, okay, then what? But you guys are doing this with children, and you guys are so consistent. Like, the authors that I've interviewed, especially the debut novel, like they're like, okay, well, this book is coming out, and then I've got one coming out, and then I'm working on the outline. Like it's like you said, it's like this never
Yeah.
ending to really keep because everybody else's keep
Right.
going too. Book a year, sometimes you see
It's
crazy people
it's
that are
book
2 books a
year.
year.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how people do the 2 books a year. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, book a year is hard. And like right now, we're starting a new one, and to really hit a book a year to come out in July, like we really need to have it done in the next couple months. And usually we'd almost be done by now. And because our book coming out this July, we got a little backed up on the edits. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball now. And we're
Wow.
like, okay, we got to like jam, like we got to have this book done in like 4 months. Because the publishing process takes about a year. So if we turn this book
Right.
in June or July, it would be for a June or July 2019 release. I mean, it is just a slow moving machine.
Yeah. But then also, as slow moving as it is, it's just crazy because, like I said, you're talking about this book, but then you've got another one coming out, and then you're working on the. So it's like, which book are we talking about?
I know people were like, "What? You're starting the one coming out this summer?" I'm like, "No, that's been done like a year." Like, this one's for 2019. And they're like, "What?" And then like, I know, just it's fine. Just know we need to have a book done by June. But
Yes.
we're really excited about the one coming out this summer. And I think if you like The Good Widow, you'll really like this one. And it's really fun. And we really kind of poured our heart and souls into this one. And I'm really hoping it resonates with people like The Good Widow did.
Well, I have to tell you, with The Good Widow, like halfway through, I always like pride myself because I read a lot of books, okay? And I'm always like, I know exactly how this is going to end. Like, I know, I always think, I know it. I'm like, yeah, okay. I keep reading. I'm like, it's a good story, so I know how it's going to end, but it's
Right.
really cute how it's going on. And I,
Yeah.
even though now looking back, I'm like, I'm not sure why I thought I knew what was going to happen. Like,
Right.
because I don't think I knew exactly like how suspenseful it was going to get. This book
Right.
picks up speed. Okay, like as
Right.
it's going, is picking up. A lot of times books don't do that. They kind of hit the middle and then like these certain points,
Go
but
flat.
not
Yeah.
this book. This is like speed, speed, speed. By the end, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
I think, yeah, and it was fun. It's been really fun because I think people think it's one story, but it's another. And so
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, and so it makes us really happy that most of the feedback we get that people did not understand what kind of story it was going to be, and that makes us really happy. So,
I can
because
imagine.
everyone wants that surprise.
We do. We
There's a
do.
book by Karma. Yeah, there's a book by Karma Brown you should read. It's called Come Away with Me, and it has a similar, not the same surprise, but it's similar in the sense that you're reading it and you think it's one book, and you get to like page 280, and it becomes this totally different book, and it takes your breath away, and I love that book. You should definitely read that book, but it's similar to The Good Widow in that regard.
Okay, well, I just want to tell everybody how this book starts because, first of all, I love the cover. So I'm like loving the cover. You get through and you're like, okay, I'm going to
Thank you.
start the book. And then you quote a Billy Joel song. Okay.
No, I love that song so much.
Me too. But it had this, all of a sudden, you guys took this song that I took as this kind of like love song, and I'm reading it and I'm going, oh no, this is like has this creepy kind of, I never realized that Billy Joel's this song, like she can kill with her eyes.
Right.
I'm like, wow, I
Yeah.
never realized that it said that.
Well, and we chose that passage because really that passage could be about Jax or Dylan in
Right.
some regard. And
Yes.
so that's why we found it really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you pick that after you wrote, or was that like how you started it?
No, probably in the middle. I'm really into Epitaph. Like I'm kind of obsessed with them,
Yeah.
and so I kept telling Lisa like, oh, and she's like, So I wrote when I was writing the book, I wrote to that song a lot. That song just really resonated with me for this book, and I think you understand why, I'm sure.
Yes.
And so I listened to that song on repeat a lot. Like it's in my like most played on my playlist.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome, especially considering that like in my age, I was listening to that song junior high school, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old,
I think. Yeah, it's an old song.
It's an old
what's
song.
funny is I hadn't heard it in a long time, and then I
Yeah.
was watching show, I think like Mistresses, some totally like trashy show. And they had this whole storyline around the song, and it was really done really well. And I downloaded the song the next day. I was like, oh, I forgot. I love that song. And it was just a couple months before we started writing The Good Widow, and it kind of all came together. It was really interesting.
I love that title too. It's just perfect. I can't even tell
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. We had a lot of different titles leading up to it, so I'm glad you like this one. That the title changed probably like 5 or 6 times before it came to The Good Widow.
That's awesome. Well, I just wanted to tell everybody that you guys have a blog I found, and it's actually up to date. Which is weird. I thought, when people say they have a blog and you go on, it's like 2015 and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which you know what?
Yeah.
Really, like blogs are becoming that, but you guys have an up-to-date blog. So I give you all the credit in the world.
Well, yeah, because we do a roundup. Oh, thank you. I mean, we just do we do a roundup every month with all the newest books coming out that month, and actually through our Facebook page, you can enter to win a copy of every single one. So one person wins all the books every month. So, and they're all books that are coming out that month, and all like the latest and greatest. So that's basically how we use our blog, and we run the contest through our Facebook page at Liz Fenton and Lisa Steinke, and you can go in and just leave a comment to be entered.
And
so it's fun.
Yeah, what I think is awesome about that is because I kept telling my daughter, she's going to be watching, and because she watches all these, but because she does my social media. But I always say to her, how are we going to find out the books that are just coming out? Like, how do we find that out? Like, there isn't. I looked, she's looked, and so when I went on there today, I was like, oh my God, you guys are putting it right there, like all the newest books, because I don't want them when they hit, like Barnes and Noble. I want to know before, like I want to know February's, I want to know March, like I want to know, and that's perfect.
It really, a good place for you to get those too is that Pop Sugar does a really good roundup for every season, and they'll put like 50 books on it, and it's for the entire season, and so that's a great. Their roundups, our friend and author Brenda Janowitz runs it, and it's really good. We get a lot of ours. We book a lot of our books through the Pop Sugar roundup.
And I've actually heard of that, and I don't know why. I think I'm on Instagram. I don't know. I'm like, I know that name.
Yeah, Good. Pop Sugar is a great. They do a really, really good job with their roundup for the season, and they'll have them on there months before.
Wow, that's awesome.
So go there.
Yay. Well,
but you can come to us too. That's great. We'll have you.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Liz. This was so much fun. I just wanted to get this out to everybody because it's almost like I know it's been out, since June. Okay. But it's, that when books like they've been out, but then all of a sudden, like somebody picks it up and then it like picks up this speed. And I feel like lately I see it all over the place. And I was just so excited for you guys.
Yeah. It's had a little bit of a resurgence in the last 2 months. So I'm not complaining. We're really, thankful, and we're thankful to everybody that reads it and, lets us know and contacts us and reviews. We're so thankful.
Yeah. And I do think that it's because of social media. It's almost like one person picks it up and then it gets out there, and then you don't know where it goes from there. And it's an exciting time to be an author, I think. With how much you can get out there.
And word of mouth is crazy. And Instagram is a great place to find books.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, I was happy to be here. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And I can't wait to, read your next book. And you can tell Lisa for me how much I love this book.
I know, I will. I was texting her earlier. I'll definitely let her know. We really appreciate we're so happy that you loved it. That makes us so happy.
Yeah, and if you get me a signed copy, I do giveaways too. I will give away.
I
will give away a book, and we'll.
Do you want to do it for this? You want to do it on here?
Yeah, I will. Okay. I will give away a signed copy. All you have to do is send one to me. I will get you. I will email you my address. But I just want everybody to see, because when I looked at the cover, I was like, even the cover just. I don't know. It just sucks you in. You're into the story, and
wait till you see the new cover. You're gonna like it. If you like this cover, you're gonna love the cover of the new book.
Well,
So
you know what? I just see how excited you are about it. Like, the process just keep, with every book, you can just get
yeah.
that excited, So it was
Yes.
awesome to meet
Yes.
you. And good luck
You
to
too.
both of you. And I will have
Thank
all of their
you.
links listed below. And I will have your blog down there for everybody to go to. So, anyway,
Yay.
you have a great night. Thank you so
You
much.
too. Okay,
Okay.
you too. Okay, bye.
Bye bye. Guys, thank you for watching that video with Liz Fenton. We had some Skype issues, connections. I don't know why. I mean, it's a little bit later than I'm used to doing videos, so who knows, or weather related. I don't know. But that happens sometimes. And anyway, I hope you see how sweet she was and how excited she was about her writing. And I will have all of hers and Lisa Steinke's links listed under here. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit like. And if you'd like to get notified when all my videos come out, you can hit subscribe. And I just want to thank Liz so much. I mean, The Good Widow is amazing. If you have not read it yet, go and get it. Thank you. Bye.